Hey everyone, I'm here with.
General Trilogy here, and also,
The Shadow King Nazru, embrace the darkness.
Yes.
and today, what do we got in mind? This was King's idea, so he should explain what it is.
Yeah.
This
King?
video was brought to us by Vanity Fair. It's titled The Original Star Wars Trilogy versus Disney Star Wars Trilogy.
Hmm. It sounds to me like they're going to compare both trilogies.
Yeah.
Oh, bless you, Iron.
Let's see what we're getting into.
Yeah, okay. Iron, countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.
I wrote the cover story this month for Vanity Fair about Star Wars. People talk a lot about the connections between the new Star Wars trilogy and the old ones, but what interests me even more is the differences between the Disney version and the Lucasfilm version.
Yeah, the difference is that
The main difference
the
for
Disney
me
one sucks
is
ass.
the old movies were kind of a fairy tale in a way. I mean, they went to some very dark places, but we kind of thought at the end of Return of the Jedi that it was happily ever after for the rebellion and for Han and Leia. What we discover in the new movies is
And there
it's
was
not
nothing wrong with
quite
that.
kind of a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Things get a little more complex, a little darker, maybe even a little more realistic. When Lucas made the movies
Complex
in the
is
1970s, it was
subjective
really
term,
kind
really.
of an antidote to a lot of the disillusionment that was happening. They were coming off the Vietnam War. They were coming off of Watergate. They were coming off a lot of really great but depressing 1970s cinema. Lucas said in interviews he wanted to rebuild optimism, and in many ways, that's the tone of the original trilogy. The new ones are more complicated than that. I think they come from
And now
a less
these
disconnected
new
place,
trilogies are more
but they are
nihilistic.
also a little less wide-eyed. The old movies were so much about this idea of restoring the old republic.
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the old republic.
You don't hear that much about it in the new movies. What you hear about is younger people wondering whether they can repair the damage of the past and build something new that's going to last.
And they did.
Lucas
They made a complete story.
in a wonderful way that I
Yeah.
love. He's kind of moony and romantic. He has these ideas about how life is going to pan out for him. And in a funny way, they do, and in a funny way, they don't. But he finishes the movies looking really happy. It's not bittersweet for him, really. He does what he needs to do. With Rey, you kind of wonder if it's going to go in that
Where was
direction
Anakin?
necessarily. In the new movies,
nowhere.
we kind of have a Luke figure in
Remember, they don't
Rey.
want to
She
talk about the
is on a
prequels.
desert planet. She's young. She's an orphan.
I know all about waiting. For my family. They'll be back.
But things are much rougher for Rey. She doesn't have that kind of family support system that Luke had. She's much angrier. She's not trying to join the resistance or anything like that.
She's
She is just
actually a
trying to
Mary
get by
Sue.
when the
That's
movie
what she
starts.
is.
So
Yes.
even more than Luke, she kind of starts at nothing, and she has to kind of build herself up piece by piece. When you look at the later Luke, he is a guy who is very disillusioned and really struggling with a kind
We don't
of
refer to
midlife
that
crisis
one
that
as
someone like
Luke
Obi-Wan
Skywalker.
never really had to
It's
confront.
Jake
Jake
Walker. Oh God!
Luke and Obi-Wan
Oh,
are,
God.
they're kind of emblematic of
Pause.
the differences between.
Okay, pause. So, King, what do you gotta say?
Okay, so first off, they started off comparing Rey and Luke. Okay, Luke, yes, he was a rather optimistic, naive kid, but he, as the trilogy went on, he got a little bit wiser, but he still kept his optimism and that hopefulness and belief that there's good in everybody, even someone like his father, well, with the exception maybe like the Emperor, because, well, there's no saving that guy.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, that led to him redeeming his father and helping save the galaxy.
Yep.
Luke was an optimist and a very powerful force, but he still had flaws. He still had potential to grow. Rey, there's nothing to her. She's perfect and boring.
She had no real character development other than, oh, my parents will never find me. I'll never know about them. Or who are my parents? Which right now they're junkers that died on Jakku and just left her to die, or with Uncle Blood. And now with Rise Skywalker, they're gonna wreck on that shit because Ryan Johnson is a moron. So what's there to have in the sequel trilogy? There's nothing. There's
And if
nothing.
this, and if the rumors are true, The Skywalker name is not going to mean anything.
Oh, God. No, it's not rumor. Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that The Rise of Skywalker, the title, was there just for marketing purposes. It has nothing to do with the movie. Nothing.
Oh, fuck you, Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true.
It's true, my friend. It has nothing to do with the movie. Pure marketing decision there. Pure.
Anyone else got anything to say?
Iron, maybe? Or
So
no?
I'm a little exhausted. I got home from a walk, so
Okay, in that case, you and me, King, will do most of the talking to let Iron
I'll chime in
go.
when I want to, or if I have
Yeah.
something to say.
Okay.
All right,
In that
3,
case,
2, 1, go.
Between the trilogies, because Obi-Wan, his Padawan obviously goes massively off the rails, but he deals with it. And he retreats to the desert, and he's a hermit, and he's meditating for 20 years or however long it is. And then when Luke sort of comes of age, he's ready to kind of guide him. Luke has the same thing happen. He has a Padawan who turns to the dark side in Kylo Ren, but he doesn't recover from it in that same way. He is so upset and so ashamed that he has to hide himself away. He isn't there for Rey in that way that Obi-Wan is for Luke.
Yeah,
Rey
it's
has to
almost
go
like
find
it's
him
out of
and
character or
twist his
something.
arm to
Wait.
get him to train her and keep the Jedi Order going. So when you have Luke suffering this terrible loss, he doesn't bounce back from it as easily. Audience
My
expect
God,
him
this
to kind
lightsaber
of
battle,
wrestle
quote
internally
unquote,
with
looks
this problem
awful.
in a little
Oh,
more
yeah.
of a challenging way. And he does. He has to work it through in this really dark psychological way that Obi-Wan never really had to.
okay, pause
Darth
before we
Vader
proceed
was-
to this? Or no?
Huh?
Nothing. I was going to say pause before going to Darth Vader and Kylo Ren, but oh well.
So you
No, but I
want
did.
to
No,
continue
but I
on?
had anything to say.
Well, nothing really. Wait, you paused or you're continuing?
Oh, I
I'm
paused.
at 3:49.
341?
349.
349. Okay. So, okay, here's one thing I have to say. Both Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker are not really the same, if you ask me. I mean, he's probably saying they're different, but okay, here's the question. Who did okay, Obi-Wan, okay, we know it started with episode 4. That's the movie that first started the entirety of Star Wars. We don't know what happened in the prequels, we don't know everything. But okay, here's the difference. At least Obi-Wan, when he exiled himself, it was to protect Luke Skywalker, and when the time was ready, he could finally lead him out of Tatooine in order to train him and become the next Jedi. Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, he just gives up and everything. He has
knows
no
to
hope.
die.
Yeah.
Yes.
He has no fucking hope, no nothing, no redemption, no optimism, nothing. He's just a fucking grumpy piece of shit, nihilistic asshole of an old man.
Yes, the difference between Obi-Wan and Jake Alien Milk Drinker is that Obi-Wan and Yoda had a plan to stop the Empire. It was Luke and Leia, because they were the son and daughter of Anakin Skywalker, aka the Chosen One. They were the ones that had the best shot.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Alien Milk Drinker just went to an island to die for something that was less serious than trying to redeem his father, who has done far worse than what Kylo Ren did at the time. He didn't even do anything.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Not to mention, it was fucking Jake Alien Milker who caused all of these problems to begin with by just literally betraying his character, which is retarded.
I mean, couldn't he have done something like talk to his nephew or to his parents? I say,
That's what
hey,
I said.
I sense the dark side in you or / your son. I think we should keep a close eye on him, give him special training, and make sure he doesn't succumb to it.
Uh-huh.
Sounds
Or at
good.
least the minimum is talk to his parents about it, and if they say it's too late or something, then maybe look, at least he will have the authorization of the parents. You know, at least he tried to do something before actually trying to kill him. But in the movie, no. Oh, I sense a little bit of darkness in him. There's no redemption. I need to kill him. I'll kill him! I'll kill him! Wait, what the hell am I doing?
Even though he sensed the good in his father.
Why didn't Leia slap him for doing something that?
Well, apparently Han and Leia were not in the picture at the time, which is bullshit. Yeah, this is how messy the sequel trilogy is.
All right, let's get to the part that I quit the video before talk to you guys about this.
Oh god,
It's gonna piss you guys.
Darth Vader to Ren. Ugh.
Okay, 1 minute. And what minute are you guys in?
I'm at
349.
349. Okay, right in there. Let's go.
3, 2, 1,
Cool.
go.
He was so cool all the time. He was like James Bond. You know, nothing ruffled him. Things went wrong. He just kind of kept on going. Whereas Kylo Ren, he's emo. You know, he has tantrums. You can see it. It's
Isn't it already?
At least you admit it.
Feel, you know, so much more present emotionally, and also in some ways more scary because he could really go off and just
Scary?
do anything at any time.
See, I told you it's full of shit.
Between Kylo Ren and Darth Vader is Darth Vader keeps his mask on, and as a result, he's kind of a supervillain. You know, he feels a little bit like something out of a comic book. When Kylo Ren takes his mask off, you realize that there's a human being who's doing these terrible things. You know, you see his face, you see the emotion on it. He makes fascism feel like much more of a real living thing, like something
He looks
you should
like
really
a
think
baby
about
boy.
and worry about it, because it's sort of all around us. Probably the biggest.
Pause. Did you pause?
Yes.
Yeah, I paused.
Okay. Holy mother of a fucking hell. Kylo Ren, scary. What scary? What scariness? What
And
scariness?
he's so deep too. Even though it doesn't explain why.
Scariness. Okay, I got a few questions. Okay, I got some things to say. First of all, the only reason why Kylo Ren removed his fucking mask in The Force Awakens is probably because the script demanded it. Hell, actually, why does he even use a mask? He doesn't even have any scars or anything hiding his face. Nothing. Darth Vader used it because he's forced to use it in order to even fucking survive. Because if he removes it off, then he's going to die out of, because his body can only be sustained through the life support cyber body. So he has to seal himself completely. Kylo Ren, why is he using a mask? He's just ripping off Darth Vader and Darth Revan, for fuck's sake. He's just doing that.
Literally.
Well, to be fair, there were some Sith that didn't have any physical deformities or anything that just wore masks for intimidation, but Kylo Ren needed something fierce.
Well, that is true, but here's the thing. Why in The Last Jedi does he stop using the mask since the beginning? If he wanted to use it for intimidation, he could have kept it, but no. He fully embraced without not using that shit.
It's because Snoke told him the helmet looks.
Which makes no sense, because why didn't he tell him that in The Force Awakens?
Because he told him to wear that so he can look intimidating like Darth Vader. So
you see how messy this thing is? It makes no sense. You'd think that it would be, I don't know, Rey or any of the enemies of Kylo Ren saying, "Oh, that thing looks ridiculous on you." No, it's apparently Snoke, the guy that's been seeing Kylo Ren and talking with him with the mask on like forever. That's so stupid. It's so stupid, so retarded.
And now they've gone back to fixing the mask. So
which is even more retarded.
Yeah, so thank you for the waste of time.
Yep.
Inside the larger waste of
Yep, and speaking of a waste of time, let's get into how Old Republic versus New Republic. So he's gonna compare how apparently it was, how both republics were. Well, it's simple. The New Republic died in The Force Awakens. So
I mean, what can you even talk about the Republic in the sequel?
It barely existed.
And we know nothing about it other than non-movie material.
And it died in the Force Awakens when Starkiller Base exploded the damn planet. The one called Hosnian Prime.
Let's get on with it.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, Good.
change for me is the difference between the resistance and the rebellion.
I have placed information
I
vital
thought this was supposed to be about the
rebellion
Republic.
into the memory systems of the SAR-2
Yeah.
unit. My father will know how to retrieve it.
The rebellion were always trying to bring back that old Republic, which
So,
was super
he was
great. And there was this
misleading.
enormous feeling of nostalgia,
Yep.
which is a big Lucas theme.
Way to
Look at
screen
American Graffiti.
rant us.
That's just a nostalgia fest. And in Star Wars, it's kind of the same. When we get to Force Awakens, everything has changed because the rebellion won, and they brought back the Old Republic,
no, they
and it
didn't.
didn't work. It was kind of politically
They didn't win shit.
passive and myopic,
At
and
least
it
or
allowed the
not
First
anything
Order to
of
rise
note.
up again. The nostalgia has completely gone out of the movies, and it's much more about looking forward. And
Nostalgia's
assessing
gone
mistakes
out.
of
The
past
sequel trilogy is
and
full of
learning from them,
nostalgia.
Then building something new that hopefully
Let the
will
past die.
Certainly,
Kill it if
the
you have
rise
to,
of
unless it's
populism
profitable.
worldwide and its kind of pseudo-fascist feel is very well reflected in the rise of the First Order. There's also this sense that the older generation, really the generation of the original Star Wars, they kind of screwed up, particularly in the area of climate change, but in lots of ways. We made so many mistakes, and we're now looking to our children to try to do better and basically save the planet from our terrible screw-ups. And
I can get that kind of message from just watching
that
the
younger
first 6
characters
films.
in the new
Yeah.
trilogy are in.
Boss. Okay. First of all, what a misleading segment. Old Republic versus New Republic. You should have called it Rebellion versus Resistance because there was no you didn't speak anything about the Old Republic or the fucking New Republic. You didn't say jack shit about it.
And if anything, you're going to confuse more people because some people consider the Old Republic, between the stories of like Revan and Darth Bane up until the Galactic Republic, which involves like the ones from the prequels, and then the New Republic would be everything post Return of the Jedi. So that's so you're kind of confusing the audience.
Yeah, exactly. That is one thing. And another thing, the Rebellion in the sequel trilogy they didn't win jack shit. You could say they defeated the Empire in Return of the Jedi, but here's the thing. Yeah, the Empire supposedly died in just 1 year, which makes sense because the Empire was fucking big. And then the First Order somehow came out of nowhere, like fucking nowhere. Explain to me how the hell they came into existence. Okay, I know the next segment's going to be that, but what the New Republic? What did it do? Like it just got destroyed by the First Order that came out of fucking nowhere, and the Resistance somehow formed out of the people that were part of the New Republic, but they didn't really world building at its shittiest.
And they didn't get like the full support of the New Republic, and how were they able to build a literal planet-sized super weapon without the New Republic finding out that they? I mean, some people said that they started getting materials from unknown space, but I mean, the Republic didn't coincidentally have scouts going for resources or have some spy intel?
Yeah, or rumors coming out of the unknown regions, which, by the way, a lot of people say that they constructed the Starkiller base 30 years in the unknown regions, which to me, I'm like, why didn't the New Republic send some scout ships or somebody to investigate? I know it's not their boundaries, but let's be realistic. Any fucking government or civilization, of humans, they're gonna have any sort of curiosity checking the unknown. They're gonna have curiosity. There's no fucking way they wouldn't. They always do. Why do you think there's astronauts right now exploring fucking space? Like seriously, they're gonna have fucking curiosity.
And you can't say they don't have a spy network because it's been established that the SIS exists. So what the hell are they doing?
Yep. This just. Oh god, this makes. I want to talk. Yeah, I want to talk more of the First Order, but we're gonna have to first let this guy talk about the Empire. The First
see what he
Order.
has to say about that. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Iron.
3, 2, 1.
I mean, you gotta hand it to the fascists. They stay on message. It is always the same. If anybody is kind of carrying the torch for nostalgia, it's the First Order. They are the ones now talking about restoring the past and making things great again the way they were under the Empire, but hopefully they will fail. Well, Kylo Ren's very different from Darth Vader as a character. As for the kind of political apparatus around him, it's very much the same. They even use the same tactics militarily, which is kind of a huge mistake. You would think they would have learned their lesson after losing 2 Death Stars. Now they've lost
Well, that
Star
would
Killer
require
Base
them
as
to
well.
be
I'm hoping they come up
competent.
with some
They're
new way to try to extinguish everything good in the galaxy, and at the same time, I hope it doesn't work. One thing I think Abrams...
Okay, so the only reason why Starkiller Base was destroyed similarly to the first Death Star is because the fucking movie's a fucking ripoff that J.J. Abrams designed, which, by the way, we're gonna get to later.
Pander to nostalgia, so
Yep.
they stole it.
Yep. Indeed. And the First Order didn't learn shit because they are so fucking incompetent, which makes no sense. Both the Resistance and the First Order are incompetent as fuck with how they handle things.
You figure it'd be interesting watching 2 idiots fight each other, but it really isn't.
I never saw it that way, but yeah, they're idiots. Just wait until those idiots face Emperor Palpatine! Reborn Emperor Palpatine!
I'm sure Jar Jar Abrams will find some way to fuck this up.
Oh, yeah. Dude, oh god, they're gonna do it.
They'll make me want to read Dark Empire 100 times in a row.
Oh yeah. Or they could do, as King said before, they're gonna do a Dark Empire shittier version with all sorts of fan fiction bullcrap.
Oh, if those rumors were true, like Palpatine has this disciple and he takes over him and fights Rey and Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren kills the disciple, but Emperor Palpatine jumps in there, and then Rey kills Kylo Ren, but the Palpatine doesn't jump into her. I mean, that's going to be so stupid.
Oh god, it sounds like a really shitty version of Dark Empire, which I would love to actually see come out so that the Dark Empire haters can suck it.
Yes, they'll no longer have the right to complain about it. And not to mention, the reason why Palpatine wouldn't jump into Rey is because plot armor.
And she's married soon, apparently she's perfect as fuck.
They'll probably say it's because she's so pure and she can't be taken over by Palpatine.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's finish this video once and for all.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go.
Incredibly right was he got back into that thing that Lucas had of shooting on location, which has this incredible effect of making everything feel super real. In the first film, Force Awakens, they were working so
on the
hard
prequels and the
to build
CGI.
that sense in that this is a Star Wars movie, that you can make a Star Wars movie without Lucas, without
he's
Lucasfilm,
indirectly shitting on the
prequels. Everybody was
prequels.
convinced of yet. They worked so hard to build that sense of connection to the old movies, like in having basically a cantina in the new movie. One thing Abrams said about the way that he directed The Rise of Skywalker is that it was different from how he did Force Awakens. He felt
Anybody
freer
dislike
to
this video?
do
Because
his
I'm
kind
already
of
getting
Star
ready
Wars,
too.
to shoot things his way and to kind of leave behind, in some ways, that legacy that George Lucas left behind, which was so amazing and which everything is built on. And yet at some point, he'd had to kind of decide to be himself as a director, and that is something we'll definitely see in Rise of Skywalker.
I'm always going to
Okay, so I pause right here.
Okay. Well, there's not much we can
shooting
say.
on location. Oh, you didn't see that in The Phantom Menace?
Remember, lots of people shit on the prequels because supposedly they were blue screens and gray screens with CGI, no real practical effects.
If you just watch the documentary, you can see there's plenty of practical effects. In fact, there was more than the entire original trilogy combined.
Yep. But that's prequel hating in a nutshell, my friends. Yeah. Should we get now to the elephant in the room, Lucasfilm versus Disney, or should I say the old Lucasfilm versus Disney Star Wars? That's how I should say it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, let's go. Let's finish this.
3, 2, 1, go.
The pace at which Disney puts out new Star Wars material is so much faster than Lucasfilm did. I mean, it was a film a year.
Which,
5
for the
years
wrong
now.
reasons,
I think
but
they
to
were
win.
testing to some
Because
extent.
it has
Will
absolutely
people
no
experience
world
Star Wars
building.
fatigue? And the
You have to have more
answer
money.
was almost
And there
no.
is Star Wars
Solo,
fatigue,
as it
literally.
turned out, was kind of a bridge too far. I think Disney was testing whether they could make Star Wars movies the same way they make Marvel movies, which is just spinning them off around different characters
Stupid.
at a huge rate.
Star Wars was
And
never Marvel.
the
cinematic
result of the
universe.
experiment is you can't. I think the difference is between the old movies and the new one. They're partly about people. They struggle within themselves more than they used to. Kylo Ren struggles to.
It's almost like they were
he
telling
struggles
the
with
wrong
goodness in
stories
himself,
when they
even
could have
more
been
than
talking
Luke
about Luke
struggled to
and
resist
his
the dark side. At the
Jedi
same time,
Academy
that fairy
thing,
tale kind of spell has
I mean,
been broken.
post-episode
That
6.
sense that we used to have that
Yeah.
everything was going to be okay. Everything was going to be happily ever after. We don't
Return
know
of
that
the Jedi
now.
literally should
For
have been
some
the
reason,
last
and I don't know
chronologically
if it's
Star
what's
Wars
happening
movie.
in the world,
And the last movie to be
or
released should have
if
been episode 3,
what's
Revenge of the
happened
Sith.
in media
Simple as that.
has changed things. We're certainly used to very, very dark stuff post The Wire, post Sopranos. We're used to seeing
The
dark
only dark
endings.
stuff we got from
For
Disney
whatever
Star
reason,
Wars
as
is
an
how
audience,
shitty
we
the movies
won't
are.
sit still for that fairy tale ending the way we used to. We expect things to be bittersweet, and that, for good or ill, is what the new Star Wars movies deliver, and it makes them feel like they belong to this particular moment.
Yeah, right. So, final thoughts on that shit.
Well, we know this jackass supports the depressing nihilistic views of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Screw
Sad.
that.
That's true.
Screw that fucking sequel trilogy. By the way, small message to our viewers. They're releasing a Lego Star Wars game.
Oh,
folks.
yes.
Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. And it's literally all 9 Star Wars movies in the Skywalkers. Yeah. Episodes 1 to 6 with the sequel trilogy included. Yeah.
I'll just buy Lego Star Wars The Completed Saga, which is just 1 through 6, and call it a day.
Yep, the true saga, the complete saga.
I already have that game. Yeah, in fact, I already have the game plus Lego Star Wars 1 and Lego Star Wars 2. So, yeah, I think I'm cool. Thank you. The only thing I'm going to buy is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. But yeah, the reason why I mentioned that is because, well, as you can probably tell, there's a few people that are getting ready for episode 9, including this Vanity Fair, guys. Oh God, this is gonna be a disaster. The movie's gonna be a disaster.
It won't make $1 billion.
Yeah, it won't.
It Chapter 2 will make more money if we're going by the view counts.
Yes, indeed. I already made the math on that, and yep. Hell, the freaking trailer of It Chapter 2 has 6 million views more than fucking Rise of Skywalker.
And it managed to get that in a few days than it took Rise of Skywalker in a whole month.
Yep. No, 3 months, I believe. 2 months.
Really says something, huh?
Yeah. Indeed. So, final comments. Sorry.
This is gonna be a disaster, just like X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Oh, it's probably gonna be worse than that. Just wait on it. Just you wait. I mean, I already want to see the second trailer of episode 9, just so I can finally stick it on the ass of the Dark Empire haters that yes, Palpatine is returning, so you can shut up.
You, me, Iron, and Dark Synovia gotta react to that. This is gonna be.
Okay, if we're reacting all 4 of us, then we must not see the trailer until it comes out. We wait until all 4 of us are ready, and then we do it. Don't do what Dark Synovia did. Okay, which was watch the trailer before,
So yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm just really tired, so.
Okay, let's end it then. Final thoughts?
Vanity Fair, you are very, very delusional, very biased. And all I can say is, fuck you, you're part of the problem.
Indeed. My thoughts, well, yeah, what King said, they are shields. I mean, they got early scoops of Rise of Skywalker, which confirms that they have some biasness over sequel trilogy. So there's that. Iron, you want to say something, or is that the it?
Oh, you guys already said everything I wanted to say.
Okay, in that case, that's all, you guys. We'll see you all later.
See ya.
Well, you left quickly.